I think Majalengka is worst place in West Java for content creator.
Yeah, I mean, as I said, it's not about the place, it's more about the people you surround yourself with. So I'm sure Bali or Barcelona or whatever can be really great cities to create content, to have your own business, to have a really high quality of life. But when you don't have the people around yourself, it's nothing. Like you're just gonna burn out, you're gonna feel lonely, you're gonna feel depressed and stressed, and you're not gonna get anywhere. So I think the place itself is really not as important as the people who are in that place.
So Yanis is German and Asep is Sundanese. Who are you today?
That's a good question.
What is one thing in Majalengka you cannot find in Germany, in Bali, in Barcelona, or in Cianjur? Only in Majalengka.
You know, 4 or 5 other policemen to check something. I don't really know what they did there, but I already knew that it wouldn't come back the motorbike.
Dengerin ya, ada orang Jerman datang ke Majalengka, mau coba hidup di Majalengka, dipaling motor. Dalam hidup, katanya kita harus punya arah dan tujuan yang jelas. Namun, sejarah tidak mengatakan begitu. Christopher Columbus yang seharusnya menemukan India, malah terdampar di Amerika. Dia adalah simbol dari orang yang tersesat, yang justru mengubah dunia selamanya. So I was talking about the concept of podcast and the philosophy. So the name of this podcast might be Lost Soul.
Lost Soul.
Because LS, Lost Soul. If in Indonesia, maybe MNS, Manusia Sesat. Our very first question is, why your name is Asep?
So my real name is actually Jannis. I'm from Germany. And like half a year ago, I just finished high school in Germany. I really didn't want to take the traditional route of, most of my peers went immediately to university after finishing high school in Germany. And went kind of that traditional path. Like in Germany, most people finish high school, go to university for 4 years, and then like get a career and get a job and stuff like that. But I really didn't want to do that because I guess I kind of had my own India to discover, like Christopher Columbus. I had the urge to get lost and kind of deviate from the traditional path and kind of find my own way, because that's always kind of been my life philosophy, to really navigate through life on your own and find out things by yourself. So after finishing high school, I wanted to do that, and there was one thing I've always wanted to do since I was a small child. I was really passionate about telling stories and making videos. I've always written a lot of stories as a child, and even created my own online blog to publish those stories. That's when I was maybe like 15 years old. And I shared those stories in English, and actually I got like a few thousand readers on like every blog post I posted. So that was really impressive for me. And I even, you can imagine like a 15-year-old kid just like writing down some random stories, like what comes to his mind, and sharing that online, and suddenly like a couple thousand people are reading your stories.
There's a lot of names, Sundanese names.
Yeah.
Maybe Ujang, something like that. Why Asep?
Yeah, it's really just one of my friends gave me the name Asep. I didn't really choose it myself, just like your birth name, your parents choose it for you.
Yeah, because Asep is very common in Sundanese, in West Java.
Yeah.
You can find Jalakotek Asep, Warung Asep, something like that.
So that's probably why my friend gave me the name, because it's just such a common name.
So Yanis is German and Asep is Sundanese.
Exactly.
Who are you today?
That's a good question, actually. I believe I won't ever stop being Jannis, that's my true person, and I won't really change from that. I think Asep is really more like a stage name for me.
Stage name, okay.
I will always be Jannis, and if like the people who are very close to me, like my family, would suddenly start calling me Asep, it would be very, very weird for me.
May I know how old are you?
Yeah, of course. I'm 20 years old.
20?
Yeah, I know a lot of people get surprised when I say that. I'm like in a completely different country, and it's not that common, I think, in Indonesia for people to start traveling at such a young age, right? It's kind of a sad reality that for some countries it's like so much easier to start traveling the world when you're at a young age. Really the bubble in which I grew up in, all my friends basically went abroad when they were 16 years old and went to school in a completely different country. This exchange just between different countries and different cultures is so important, in my opinion. That's also why, while I'm here, I try to talk with as many people as possible.
Yeah.
And even though many people in Indonesia don't have the opportunity to go abroad, I'm kind of trying to bring that foreign perspective and that exchange to them. And I really love and really get excited when Indonesian people who talk to me get excited about talking to a foreigner. I can really feel that, with many Indonesians I talk to, they get excited about getting that foreign perspective. There's like also called Asep. There's a restaurant here in Majalengka, a really cool street food restaurant. It's called Jalakotek Asep.
Jalakotek Asep, yeah.
And the owner's also called Asep. I talk with him a lot because so many other people, I can feel how much they want to share their culture. And that also makes me really want to share my culture and my perspective. And this exchange is just...
Yeah, we cannot speaking English actually, but I believe that communication is not only languages, but how you want to connect with.
Yeah, true.
From Germany.
Yeah.
May I know which city?
Yeah, it's called Göttingen.
Göttingen.
I think a lot of people from Majalengka went to Kassel to the doctor.
Yeah, 2 years ago.
Maybe some of the viewers know about that. And it's actually very close to Göttingen. It's maybe like 1 hour with the car.
My friend told me that Göttingen is, university city, home to more 40 people got Nobel.
Yeah, I believe it's like the university with the second most Nobel prizes outside of the US. I think that's long past. It was all the scientists 50, 100 years ago, but now maybe not so much anymore.
And then come to Majalengka, which is nowhere.
Majalengka is a lot bigger than Göttingen, to be fair. How many people live in Majalengka? Maybe
1 million, I think.
1 million. Yeah, Göttingen is only 100,000. So
Really?
yeah. So it's a lot smaller than Majalengka.
Yeah, how can you come to Majalengka from Göttingen?
Yeah, I just continue my story, where I left off, that I went to Barcelona for 2 months. I just rented an apartment there because I wanted to double down on the storytelling thing. So I started doing English social media content. I started telling stories, and I wanted to monetize the storytelling stuff and the social media stuff that I did. I wanted to make money with that because only that would enable me to do that for the rest of my life. If I can't make any money with storytelling, I will have to go back to whatever, studying law or business or something, and then getting a normal job. But that's not what I wanted to do. But unfortunately, I really didn't like Barcelona.
Because you like Cristiano Ronaldo?
No, not because it was a bad city or because of the soccer, but because I realized that something very important is just having good people around you and having connection. And I didn't have that in Barcelona. And then I moved to Bali, which is the first time I came to Indonesia. Also, even though maybe some people disagree with that, but I don't really count Bali as Indonesia.
Wait. Why Indonesia? Why you, after Barcelona, you come to Indonesia? Not Thailand, maybe not Malaysia or...
Well, it's really kind of the stereotype that all content creators and people doing something with social media go to Bali.
Okay.
That's where all the Australians and Europeans go to make social media and become fitness coach or social media coach or coach for other coaches or whatever. And then, but with Bali, it was really the same story as with Barcelona, that I really didn't like it because I just lacked this connection. And I really didn't have the right people around me because I was in a completely new environment. There were just so many people around and nobody was really interested in making new connections, I felt.
How long you been in Bali?
Just 2 weeks, actually.
Only 2 weeks?
I planned to stay there for a few months. But then after 2 weeks, I just had a complete breakdown. I burnt out. I was stressed. I didn't know anyone in Bali still after 2 weeks. And I will just book a flight to Jakarta.
Jakarta.
And I will rent a motorbike and I will do a road trip around Java because that's the most random thing I could think about. I really just wanted to get lost, you know. I really wanted to like do something like a very crazy side quest and just, you know, have like a reset.
Yeah, so you are really Columbus.
Yeah, maybe. Even though I didn't go to Jakarta to find India, I just went to Jakarta to go on a sailboat and start sailing, you know. Yeah.
And after Jakarta?
So I started this trip on my motorbike. I really wanted to go around Java, like to Ijen and then back to Jakarta. But my first stop was Cianjur.
Cianjur.
And I was staying at a very natural, rural place in the mountains and in the jungle, with a group of people who had kind of like a Airbnb type of stuff, like a farm stay. So I originally planned to stay there for 2 weeks, but then I enjoyed it so much. And, you know, for the first time in a few months, I had friends there. I had kind of those people around me that I liked in Barcelona or Bali. And I had this great circle of people around me who, which was something really special for me because I didn't have that in Barcelona and in Bali. So I stayed there. And once and one of those people who also lived there was the one who gave me the name Asep. So that's that story.
Yeah, it's interesting because you meet human in jungle.
Yeah, it's kind of this classic thing that if you're in a big city, it's even though there are more people around, most of the time you feel more lonely and it's more difficult to meet people because there's so many, right?
Yeah, so yeah, Asep Surasep was born in Cianjur, right?
Asep Surasep was born in Cianjur, yeah, that's true. As soon as I had the circle of people around me, this community, my friends, I had the stability to start doubling down on my passion again, on storytelling. Because now I had this community and now I could focus on something else. So it was really more sustainable for me. And I had more creativity because I talked to other people all the time. And so, yeah, then I decided, you know what, I'm just going to start making videos in Indonesian, which was kind of a crazy idea because I couldn't really speak Indonesian. But I felt like a lot of people would be interested in that because a lot of people are kind of interested in the bule in Indonesia, right? So when they see the bule on social media, they are going to probably watch the video because it's something really interesting and new, especially if he does something like very Indonesian. So my concept for my first video was Day One Jadi Orang Kampungan. And I really wanted to double down on that Kampungan version because I realized Kampungan is kind of a controversial word in Indonesia, right? It's kind of considered an insult maybe sometimes.
Yeah.
But I had the idea Kampungan can also be something positive, something you can be proud of. You know, you can be in the village, close to nature, connected with other people. You know, as I said, in the village, it's a lot easier to find connection than in the big city. And in a lot of ways, I think smaller cities, villages, jungle is a better life than in the big city where you feel disconnected and there's so much traffic. So I kind of wanted to flip the script there and turn Kampungan into something positive. But then I suddenly started getting a lot of viewers. And, you know, when you check the analytics for the videos in TikTok or Instagram, you can normally, when you've done social media for some time, you can normally recognize patterns, which mean that the video will probably perform pretty well. Like when you analyze the watch time and the retention and how many people follow you from the video, how many people comment. And I realized, because before that I've been doing social media in English for a while, I've realized, wait a minute, these are some really good analytics. I think this is gonna get like a couple million views. And in fact, like after 1 or 2 weeks, it did get 1 million views.
1 million views.
Yeah. So that's when I realized, okay, I'm onto something here. I'm not just like doing random stuff in the jungle. People actually want to watch that, and people are actually interested in that. Yeah.
Did you expect that?
I kind of expected that, yeah, but I didn't expect that it would blow up that quickly. You know, I started like not even 3 months ago, and now I'm at like 300 to 400,000 followers, which is crazy growth. I didn't expect that. I really didn't expect.
Yeah, I remember it went viral because somehow I can see it.
Yeah. So that's when you reached out to me.
Yeah,
Come to
that's-
Majalengka. It's when you stole me from Cianjur.
Yeah, I kidnapped you from Cianjur.
Yeah, exactly.
So after Cianjur, you come to Majalengka,
Mm.
and what was make you think that Majalengka, you can live in Majalengka?
You know, it was not really. It was not really. I really wanted to come to Majalengka. It was.
By accident, yeah?
It was by accident, yeah, kind of, because you guys invited me here to Majalengka, and it seemed like a really good opportunity to continue this journey to tell stories and create content, and not do that alone, but also with some other people who also do that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, but Majalengka is not. I think not good for content creator. I think Majalengka is the worst place in. I think Majalengka is worst place in West Java for content creator.
Yeah, I mean, as I said, it's not about the place, it's more about the people you surround yourself with. So I'm sure Bali or Barcelona or whatever can be really great cities to create content, to have your own business, to have a really high quality of life. But when you don't have the people around yourself, it's nothing. Like you're just gonna burn out, you're gonna feel lonely, you're gonna feel depressed and stressed, and you're not gonna get anywhere. So I think the place itself is really not as important as the people who are in that place.
So it's not the place, but it's the people. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So I imagining if I become rich man and I can visit Germany, I might not visit Berlin or something like that. I might visit Göttingen because I have you in Göttingen.
Yeah, it's really all about the people. And you know, in my 20 years that I've already been on this earth, I went to a lot of different countries and places. I was really lucky to travel a lot. And I lived in a lot of different countries as well. And that's kind of always the realization that I had, or that the people around you is just the most important thing. And if you don't have a good network, if you don't have a good community around you, it's not going to be a good experience.
So you come to Majalengka. How was the first impression?
You know, really, it's really again just about the people in Majalengka. I made everything. You know, I don't really build a strong attachment to the place itself. I build an attachment to the people in that place. Yeah, and that experience was really good because, you know, I talked about Jalakotek Asep here. I swear this podcast is not sponsored by Jalakotek Asep, but I'm just going to mention him because he's such a great example for people here in Majalengka.
We will invite him in next podcast.
Yeah, we will do that for people here in Majalengka who are like so welcoming and so open and so kind and so excited to meet new people. So yeah, that's really the thing that stands out to me. Yeah.
Do you have any bad experience in Majalengka?
Yeah, I think, you know, it's you know, it's funny because before I said that like this small places and the villages are so great, but I feel like slowly I'm outgrowing Majalengka because I feel like it would now be time for me to go to a bigger place and kind of continue the journey I'm on, because I feel like the small place are for like the initial connections, to building some connections, to feeling home, because you're not gonna go to a big city and feel home immediately because it's just so much. But if you go to the small kampung, and where I lived near Cianjur, I really felt at home. And then from there, I'm kind of trying to work my way up. You know, and now I'm in Majalengka, which was the next step because you guys invited me here, and I already had that network around me and could just continue my passion for telling stories. And I think after that, to be able for me to grow and to continue this journey, I'm gonna have to go to
Bandung,
a bigger place. Yeah, Bandung. I would really like to move to Bandung because I've already been to Bandung a couple of times, and I think it's just such a nice place. Especially compared to Jakarta, where there's just so much traffic and bad city planning and it's just so much stress. But Bandung is kind of like more relaxed and
Bandung still a lot of traffic.
Yeah, of course, but it just feels more spaced out. You know, there's like some trees on the road.
Yeah,
or
there's lit,
so you don't feel as much as in like a prison as in Jakarta. I feel like, you know, in Jakarta it just feels kind of suffocating to me because it's just buildings and big roads and traffic, and it takes like 4 hours to just leave the city. Yeah.
And Bandung, I think the best thing from Bandung for foreigner is the weather, I think, because
the weather, because it's colder,
not so hot.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's so probably the next step in my journey is gonna be Bandung.
Yeah. What's your biggest culture shock when you come to Majalengka?
Biggest culture shock? I mean, there's a lot of culture shocks. It were kind of delayed for me. When I first came to Indonesia, I was just super enthusiastic and super fascinated by there's so much beautiful nature. The rice fields look so beautiful, which it's so funny. I always compare to most Indonesians have never seen snow in their life. So when I see like the rice fields in Indonesia, it's like for Indonesians seeing snow for the first time.
Yeah.
Because it's such a special view, and like how kind all the people are, how excited they are to meet new people. And it's always like warm and relatively good weather. And I really liked the food in the beginning. But then like after 2 or 3 months, the culture shock started setting in, because I think it's always like that in the beginning. When you come to a new country or place, you're just going to be fascinated by everything. Yeah. And then after a while, you're going to start, oh, that's kind of weird. Or yeah, like for example, I really started noticing how weird it is for me to use Indonesian bathrooms. Bathrooms, like kamar mandi. And in most houses, there's not like the overhead shower, right? You use the water thing.
Yeah, we call it gayung.
Gayung, where you pour the water on yourself. And it's just so awkward for me to use it, because then I have one thing on the water thing, and then I need the other hand to wash myself. Also going on the toilet, not having toilet paper, stuff like that. It's just so weird for me. I just don't know how to physically do it. I won't go into detail with that maybe.
For toilet paper, I think we use water because we are rich country. We have a lot of water, but in Europe, water is such a rare thing.
Yeah, but I just feel like I'm gonna make my hand like so dirty. And then sometimes when you go into the toilet, like maybe in the Indomaret or something, there's no soap to wash your hands. So how do you do it then?
Yeah, this is connect why from Sundanese culture. No, I think Indonesian culture, we don't have to use the left hand. Left hand means rude. So when you shaking hand, no left hand.
Yeah, but then I feel like your left hand is still gonna be dirty. Like even if you don't use it, and I just don't.
Yeah, that's why.
I just feel weird about it.
And what's next? The culture shock. Maybe the call prayer, the sounds from call prayer in the early morning.
Yeah, I mean, not really. I didn't get really bothered by that. I think one of the biggest culture shocks was definitely the food.
The food. Because
there's just so much fried food. And I'm like a really health conscious person, and being healthy and protecting my body is really important to me. You know, I really view my body as my temple, as some people say it, and it's really important for me to protect my body even to a big age, because it's just important for me to be healthy and to do all the stuff that I want to do.
Oh, that's why you always choose ayam bakar.
Yeah, exactly. So you know, most people in Indonesia, they smoke cigarette and they eat a lot of makanan goreng.
But I saw you smoke cigarette and orang tua in your content.
Yeah.
So it's not true?
It's I only smoke a cigarette one time in my life, and that was when I made the video, because I wanted to kind of embody that orang kampungan, you know, and orang kampungan always smoked a cigarette. So I thought it would be funny if I did that. But actually, I don't smoke cigarette. I don't drink alcohol actually. I just put that in my video because I think it's kind of funny.
I thought everyone from Europe, especially in your age, is drink alcohol.
Oh, that's not true. There's so many people who don't drink alcohol, especially for the reason that I don't drink alcohol, because it's not healthy.
They are more Islam than us. Yeah, because alcohol is haram.
Yeah. I mean, I think a lot of young people in Europe are very health conscious and starting to realize that the body they have is really, really important to protect that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Genji in Europe stop drink alcohol, stop smoking. Yeah.
There's still so many people that do that, but there's also a growing number of people who refuse to do that.
What is one thing in Majalengka you cannot find in Germany, in Bali, in Barcelona, or in Cianjur? Only in Majalengka.
You know, what was this place with like where we did the Petani video, like the mountain?
Yeah, Panyawian.
Yeah. You know, when I went there
Yeah.
and stepped out of the car, it was such a fresh air, you know? It was just such a nice cold wind and felt so fresh, the air. And I feel like in most like bigger Indonesian cities, it's always really hot. And it's kind of, I don't really know how to describe it, the feeling, but the air kind of feels pressing, you know? You feel like the air is pressing on you and it's just always hot. Whereas, what was the name again?
Panyawian, yeah.
Panyawian. The air was so fresh. And that's the same feeling I always have in Germany when I go outside in the morning, like just after the sunrise. You know, the air's fresh, there's some fog maybe, and it's really cold. And it's just such a freeing and refreshing feeling because, I don't know, it's just not hot all the time. You know, if it's hot all the time, it just feels...
So Panyawian reminds you to Göttingen?
Yeah, it really reminded me of like Germany, just like the temperature and the wind, and it felt so liberating. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, some of us is called Panyawian as Switzerland from Majalengka.
Yeah, I actually really felt that. Like when I go into the mountains in Germany or Switzerland or Austria, it's the same exact feeling as there. Maybe not as extreme because the mountains in Switzerland are a lot bigger. But it was a similar feeling, yeah. And I also plan to maybe climb Ciremai.
Yeah, Ciremai is the biggest mountain in West
Exactly.
Java.
I'm really excited to do that actually.
Yeah, let's do it before you move to Bandung.
Yeah.
And what is one thing in Majalengka that Germany desperately need?
I think it's just a thing generally for Indonesian.
Yeah, Indonesia.
Indonesia,
Okay.
that Indonesian people are just so much more like santai and open to new connections, to talking to people, and also very excited to welcome foreigners into their country. And in Germany, it's really been like an increasing issue recently that a lot of people are afraid of welcoming foreigners into the country and are like growing more and more hostile towards foreigners and don't want to welcome foreigners into their country. And it's just so sad. And it's really a big political issue, really. Well, you could probably do an entire podcast episode just talking about that, but it's really, probably that's the thing that I would wish for Germany the most, that people would take more of that personality trait of Indonesians, that they are just so excited to welcome new people into their country.
I know it.
Other countries, and there's just so much racism in Germany now, and it's so sad. Actually, I have an Indonesian friend who I met in Jakarta who lived in Germany for 5 years. And then I think like 3 years ago, he had to leave because the racism became too much. And, you know, people on the street would shout like, in Indonesia, you know, the small kids always are really excited to see the foreigner and shout, bule, 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 hi, mister. But sadly in Germany, as my Indonesian friend told me, some people would like shout insults at him or say something like, you're not welcome here, leave our country. And that's why he sadly had to leave and go back to Indonesia, even though he really did like it in Germany. But yeah.
But when we heard German, so our stereotype, our mind is become like people in German is smart, is because got influenced by the third president of Indonesia. Did you know? The third president of Indonesia?
No.
So number one is Soekarno, and then the second president is Suharto, and the third is, we call him BJ Habibie. Habibie lives in German, and we believe he is the smartest person in Indonesia ever. And he lives in German for like maybe 10 years or more, I think. He called back to Indonesia and make aeroplane in Indonesia.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's why Indonesia and German have. Yeah, this story make us always remember German as place for smart people. Yeah, and every genius person in Indonesia want to come and live in German. That's our stereotype.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm glad that there's such a positive connotation of Germany.
Very positive.
Yeah.
Yeah, tell us about one thing 2 weeks ago. Your motorbike.
Yeah. My motorbike got stolen.
Yeah.
Right in front of my house. You know, it's funny. Like I was sleeping in the bedroom, and there was a wall, even the window, like next to my bed, and my motorbike was here directly, like in front of me, basically. And like in the middle of the night, someone stole my motorbike. And then when I walked outside, I didn't see my motorbike. I was like, what the fuck? Where's my motorbike gone? So yeah, that was a bit unfortunate. But honestly, I was kind of surprised from the beginning when I came to Indonesia, because most motorbikes you can just open with the same key, you know?
Yeah.
The ones that don't have the electronic key, you can just open them very easily. So I was surprised, like, why does no one steal all the motorbikes here? But then that paid off because my motorbike got stolen.
Dipaling motornya 2 minggu yang lalu. Yeah, I was surprised because I think your place is kind of a safe place, secure place. The thief was hunting you, like they were wait for mistake. They follow you and then wait for the time.
I'm not sure. There's a conspiracy theory, yeah. I'm not sure. I mean, there's security in front of my house, and they usually leave at the same time. So I think whoever stole the motorbike probably knew when the security would leave in the night, and then they would come after the security left to steal my motorbike. Yeah.
How was your feeling?
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty annoying, but yeah, I wasn't like too depressed or something. It was just really annoying. And now I always put my motorbike inside the house so it doesn't get stuck.
And did you know that 99% your motorbike is just gone?
Yeah, I didn't think so. The moment I saw that it disappeared, you know, I texted the person that I knew at the police, and he immediately came with like 4 or 5 other policemen to check something. I don't really know what they did there, but I already knew that it wouldn't come back the motorbike. Yeah.
Dengerin ya, ada orang Jerman datang ke Majalengka, mau coba hidup di Majalengka, dipaling motor, malah dipaling, Gra. So I think I'm not the one who stole you, who kidnapped you from Cianjur, but the one is Aceng Sunanto.
Yeah, maybe.
Let's talk about him. What do you think about him?
Yeah, I mean, so how I came to Majalengka is you first invited me, and then I came here and we created some content together.
Let me clear it first because I was a program. The name is MNS. It's from Manusia Sesat. Like I want to invite Bule every week to like you come and then next week another Bule and but Aceng wants you
Yeah,
only you.
Yeah. So I could feel like I think it was like his birthday when I came, right?
Yeah.
So I just came him, you know, I brought him a little birthday cake and everything because for me it's just normal that when someone has birthday you give them a present. But I felt like from the start we got along really well, and it was just a really good connection. And then, you know, suddenly he was talking about just come to Majalengka, just build your house here, because before I was also planning to build the house in Cianjur. So that was kind of a surprise for me because I didn't think to suddenly move to Majalengka because, I don't know, but turned out that it was just like such a good connection.
Did you know that in his birthday party speech, he announced that he will make you live in Majalengka, and everybody was.
Yeah, I realized that. Yeah. And I was also going on the stage. I was having like a little speech.
Yeah,
You know? Probably, I don't know who was in the audience. Probably like some really important people, politicians, businessmen. I don't know who was there. It was kind of funny because I don't know, there was probably a lot of like important people there, but I didn't know who anyone was. I didn't have a clue. So I just like kind of talked to anyone as if they were like my friend, or I just said like to any random people, any random politicians or people from the military, hey bang, lagi apa? And I think usually people who have like important roles or who are seen as like successful or famous or something, they like being treated as a normal person or as a friend, because usually when they meet people, like the people try to be really polite and respectful, and like if they are like famous people or celebrities, they treat them as a celebrity. But I don't think that important people or celebrities want to be treated as celebrities. I think they just want to be treated as normal people who you can become friends with, you know. So that's, yeah.
So can you describe Aceng in 3 words?
Oh, that's really difficult. I think he is
1.
It's really just difficult to boil it down to 3 words, but I can describe it in one fact,
Okay.
which I find really impressive or surprising, because obviously he is a businessman. He's built a very successful business with Ella Skincare. But I feel like he's still led by his emotions. He's still a very emotional man. Also at his birthday party, you know, at some point there was a video playing of like a lot of people, first from Ella Skincare, a lot of his employees, wishing him happy birthday. But then at the end, there were like the videos of his family who were wishing him happy birthday and just talked about how important he is in their lives. And I was just looking over to him, and I think he started like crying or something.
Crying, really?
And he got really emotional. Yeah, I just realized that even though Aceng has grown such a successful business, and normally like the notion is when you want to grow a successful business, you have to be super like cold and rational and always just decide on the right facts. But still, Aceng, it seems like, is more of an emotional man, and it is more important for him that a decision feels right, rather than just looking at facts and numbers and stuff, which is kind of my personality. I always look at the facts and numbers, you know. So I get really inspired by successful men who also lets himself feel emotions. Yeah.
So do you mean Aceh always use heart, not brain?
Yeah, I think so. I think honestly a lot of Indonesian people are like that. A lot of German people are more like
Always.
thinking with their brain, and a lot of Indonesian people are thinking with their heart. So I think that's definitely something I've learned so far living in Indonesia, to use my heart a little more maybe. Yeah.
Okay. So maybe we have to close it since it's 1 hour already. Do you think is it okay to be lost?
I think it's not only okay, it's perfectly normal. I think often people are made believe, or people are pressured into having like a clear path forward very early in their life. Basically, when finishing school, they are supposed to already know what to do for the next 50 years of their life. But I think that's just so absurd and naive to believe. And I know very little people who have actually done that, who have done one thing for their entire life. So I feel like it's almost necessary to get lost and to experiment with a lot of different things to be able to find the right thing in the end. And without getting lost, you will probably never find the thing you are really looking for.
What's next for Asep Surasep?
Yeah, it's a very good question. Something I've been thinking about a lot lately. Actually, I'm kind of uncertain right now about my future in Indonesia, because there's just so many variables. I think if you want to get lost, if you want to experiment with things, there's also a price to pay. Mm-hmm. And that is uncertainty. You are really unsure about what you're going to do in 1 week, what you're going to do in 1 month, or what you're going to do in 1 year. So right now I'm really trying to find a way forward in which I can spend my time in Indonesia, building my life in Indonesia, and continuing this passion of storytelling and doing social media, and maybe even teaching other people how to be successful on social media, because I just realized what a powerful weapon that is to really change your life. I realized that a lot of Indonesians don't have that many opportunities to get really good jobs, to go to university, to travel abroad. And I feel like creating content and telling stories is just a tool that opens so many doors if you really commit to the process. So I feel like by staying in Indonesia and teaching people in Indonesia how to be successful on social media, I could just not only become successful for myself, but only create so much value and help other people in such a way. So right now I'm really trying to find that way of how can I just like tell some entertaining stories on social media to really making an impact and helping other people.
You got 300 followers in maybe less than 2 months.
300,000 followers, yeah.
Yeah. What's your secret?
Actually, for the past 2 weeks or something, I've sat down and written everything down about social media that I know into like a book. And I actually tried to sell that book to my social media audience, which didn't really go that well, because I think many Indonesian people are still not very familiar with the concept of paying for education online. It's something really weird. I did get a lot of messages on Instagram about it, and they were like genuinely curious, like, what even is this that you are trying to give us? But I realized, instead of just like giving people a book that lists all my social media strategies that I use to grow so many followers on Instagram and TikTok, because there's a lot of strategy behind that. I don't just post random things. I think it's a lot more valuable if I work one-on-one with people and really guiding them through the process on how to be successful on social media. So that's actually my next project that I really want to do, is just collaborating with some small businesses and content creators. I've already talked to some small businesses, and create content with them together and guiding them through the process, and hopefully in the process making them more successful in social media and in turn in their business and giving them more opportunities. So that's really the next step. But maybe if you want, we can do a separate podcast episode just on social media.
Ya, jadi Asep nih ternyata buat buku ya. Jadi buat kalian yang penasaran gimana caranya dapat follower sebanyak itu dengan waktu sesingkat itu, bisa dengan beli bukunya. Walaupun kata dia nggak terlalu efektif karena orang Indonesia ternyata masih aneh dengan metode itu gitu. Tapi juga Asep buka kesempatan untuk latihan face to face gitu biar langsung aja. Kita juga punya acara sama Asep nanti tanggal 16 buat kalian yang mau datang, nanti datang aja. So yeah, thank you for your time, Asep.
Yeah, it was a pleasure.